Hey, it's Jonathan Fitzgordon. I'm here with Alicia Raquel, and we're going to take a look at the gluteus medius today. Gluteus, you have three gluteal muscles. Gluteus maximus is the biggest muscle of the body. It's a big bubble in your butt, and it's an extensor muscle. It actually runs down the leg. It connects to the femur bone, it connects to the IT band, and runs down the leg. It extends down the leg along with the hamstrings. But gluteus medius and gluteus minimus are two very different muscles. They're very small muscles. They underlie gluteus maximus and piriformis, and it's an interesting thing. In some anatomy books, you'll read that the gluteus medius and minimus are internal and external rotators, right? And they help to stabilize the pelvis. But they're internal and external rotators. So in some anatomy books, you'll read medius is an internal rotator, maximus is external, and in some you'll read the front portion of both are internal, the back portion of both are external. I love that stuff, you know, and it doesn't matter necessarily to know exactly which is which, but it's just interesting stuff. So gluteus medius, like I said, underlies piriformis. Piriformis is the muscle with piriformis syndrome, very often involved with sciatic pain. It is the muscle that it is an external rotator. It turns your foot out. Its main function is not its main function, but one of its essential function is when you get out of the car, when you lift your leg up and put it on the floor, that's piriformis is taking your foot up and out of the car. And so if you have sciatic pain, you know that is not a fun action. Like when people have really bad sciatica and piriformis syndrome, they have to bring their hand to the back of their thigh to literally lift their leg up out of the car, which is kind of intense. So gluteus medius and gluteus minimus underlie this muscle piriformis. I think piriformis tends towards tightness. Not always, right? But if your feet turn out, it's a good possibility your piriformis is tight. Different for everybody. It could still be loose with the feet turned out depending upon the general tone of your muscle, and it could certainly be weak if the feet are turned out. But for many people, piriformis is very tight. If you do pigeon pose and it's a very intense, deep stretch in your butt, that is a guarantee pretty much that piriformis is tight. And why I'm talking about this in the context of gluteus medius is that gluteus medius and minimus underlie piriformis. So they need piriformis to be long enough to do its thing in order for them to be able to do their thing. But if piriformis is tight and short, the muscles that underlie it are literally not going to be able to work, if that makes sense, right? And I'll do a whole other video just trying to explain that. But if piriformis is tight, gluteus and medius and minimus are basically trapped and unable to do their internal and external rotation. And they die on the vine. They just wither on the vine. And there is a classic exercise for gluteus medius, and it's called the clam shell. And almost anyone who's been to physical therapy for back pain has given the clam shell. It's like, you know, number one on the physical therapy sheet for a lot of people. And I happen to think it's an amazing, amazing exercise. The problem, and this is not a knock on physical therapy or physical therapists, but I have no number to say percentage-wise, but most people are just not accessing this exercise correctly, right? So like I'll say to somebody, do you know clam shells? And they'll say yes, and they'll show me them. I'll say, let me see you do it. And what they do has no connection to gluteus medius. So I've tried to teach this in yoga classes, and I have a really hard time in groups. So I really pretty much treat this as as an individual thing, because I have to be so specific to what I want you to do to get the muscle to activate. So that being said, let's work gluteus medius. Come on to your left side, facing the camera. So you're going to bend the knees, and you're going to line the heels up with the sit bones. That's a pretty good line. Stacking the feet, stacking the knees, flex the feet. So the key thing to accessing gluteus medius in the clamshell is to make sure the hips are stacked, and I'm just going to cheat that by letting the top hip roll forward. Right? Now, you're not going to let the pelvis move and take that top knee up off the floor. And hold. And does that activate your butt, gluteus medius? You feel that? Yeah. Nice. Now, just to make the point, roll this way a little. And do you lose it? Yeah. That shift is all it takes to either get or don't get this exercise in this muscle. Nice. Roll forward a little more, lift it higher. Yeah. and that's firing in your butt.
Yeah, it's deep.
It's
This makes me feel like my butt. It actually feels like...
That's pretty fine. I like where you're pointing, but now roll forward more and lift up and see if you can get it even more to the back a little. Does that make any sense? So I do this in a very, flex the feet, try to keep the heels together, toes together. I do this in a, nice, good. I do this in a very specific pattern, the way I teach this. So roll the hip forward. So that was the first one. I take the knee up, hold it. Now take the knee up again and hold. Get into that muscle. Is that making sense? You're there? So you breathe, take a couple of breaths. Now lower halfway and hold. Lower the knee about halfway and hold. And I think that should even turn it on more. Is that your experience?
Yeah, if I don't roll back.
That's exactly right. It's all about keeping your hips stacked. And I'm even having Alicia cheat to the front, right? Cheat to the front. Nothing wrong with that. Lower down. Nice. Knee up again. Nice. Roll forward. So you're asking it to add, and I'm not kidding when I say that I have some people that are weeping when I get them into this pose correctly.
It's pretty intense.
It should be really, really intense. Because for some, let's say you're turned out and piriformis is short, this muscle hasn't even done anything your whole life. Lower halfway and hold. And all of the animals have entered the picture today. Hello, princess. Lower down. Nice. So one more. I do it in a set of 3. Sorry. I do it in a set of 3. Hip forward, knee up. Awesome. And then if you want, you roll forward more to play. And if you want, you roll back to feel if you lose it. You want to learn, you want to learn what is the proper alignment. Lower halfway down. Princess just loves Alicia. And release. So I always do it pretty much that way, right? Up and hold, lower half and hold, lower all the way down, up and hold, lower half and hold, lower all the way down. Facing the camera, just turn over. So it is an amazing exercise, and you know, in my walking program, like when I'm working privately with people, I have them walk. I do a lot of experimenting in terms of I want you to feel different things. So I have people walk, then I do clam shells, and I have them walk again, and it's just amazing sometimes the difference. Bring your head back a little bit. Yeah, and the arms, the head stays down on the arm. Okay, so hip forward, knee up. Is this easier?
Yeah.
Roll forward more. So I asked Alicia if this is easier because I saw that crease happen very easily, right? So that this hip is just much freer. But it's still working, yeah?
Yeah.
Nice. Lower the knee. Knee up. So you're holding, you're rolling. Lower halfway, hold. Lower. Last one, knee up. Roll forward. Nice. So I can really see what's working muscularly back here. Lower half. Awesome. Ideally, that lowering half keeps it working or sometimes even makes it work more. And release. Nice. So those are clamshells. Absolutely classic physical therapy exercise. Pretty much most classic physical therapy exercises are great for you. The question is, are you doing them right? And like I said, I just gave up trying to teach this in groups in yoga. It's just hard to help people find it because you don't want a lot of people not feeling something that other people are feeling. But at home alone and privately, this is a muscle that will help you get out of back pain profoundly, and you want to figure out how to bring it into your yoga and exercise practice. Gluteus medius, a muscle that underlines piriformis and a muscle we really want to have good tone in, and as we get better posture, better movement patterns, you get to build better tone in gluteus medius.